Hi everyone, welcome back to the audit session, and today we will be understanding about the audit of comparative financial statement. So to begin with, the prior period audited by the same auditor. So when the comparative financial statements are presented, the auditor's report should refer to each period for which FS are presented and on which an audit opinion is expressed. When expressing an opinion on all the periods present, a continuing auditor updates the report on the FS of the prior period presented on the comparative basis with current period. Also, report date should be the date of the completion of the field work for the most recent audit. As you can see the draft in the below. If there is changing or updating the prior opinion, so in the case of that, when reporting on the prior period financial statement in connection with the current period audit, the opinion expressed on the prior period financial statement may be different from the opinion previously expressed if the auditor becomes aware of the circumstances or events that materially affect the prior period affairs during the course of the current year's audit. Also, opinion will reflect the current findings, but an emphasis of the matter paragraph or other matter paragraph must refer to the earlier report indicating, such as date of the prior report, prior opinion expressed, or the current opinion, and substantive reason for the difference of opinion. Also, if the prior opinion was qualified due to inadequate disclosure relating to the lawsuit, but the current opinion on the prior period financial statement is unmodified since the client has made adequate disclosure or the lawsuit was settled during the current year. Moving forward, if the prior period audited by the other auditor, that is the predecessor auditor. So, in the prior period financial statement presented in the comparative format alongside with the current period financial statement were audited by the predecessor auditor. The current auditor who has audited the current year only expresses an opinion on the current year only. So, two options for the prior period options. So, report of the predecessor auditor report reissued and included along with the current auditor's report. So, predecessor auditor should read the current year comparative FS and compare with the prior period FS issues. Inquire for any information that has come to management attention or any subsequent events after the prior period FS date that would require the adjustment disclosure on the prior period financial statements. Obtain the representation letter both from the successor auditor and from the management. Also, if the predecessor auditor reissues the original report or may need to reissue the revised report, then if no adjustment to the prior period financial statement, then the predecessor auditor only reissues the original audit report for the prior period FS with the original report date. If the prior period FS needs revision or has been restated by the management, the predecessor auditor may issue a revised report. This may possibly happen if the current auditor becomes aware of the information during the audit that leads to the current auditor to believe that the prior period financial statement required the revision. In this scenario, current auditor should request management to inform the predecessor auditor of the situation and arrange for the three parties to discuss this information and attempt to resolve the matter. Therefore, depending on the situation, a prior period FS may need to be restated by the management, and the predecessor auditor may perform the necessary audit procedures before issuing a revised audit report. Also note that the predecessor may dual date revised such that the predecessor auditor's responsibility for the events occurring subsequent to the date of the original report is limited to the specific events described in the relevant note to the financial statement. Also, report of the predecessor auditor not need to be presented if the current auditor expresses an opinion on the current period financial statement only and refers to the predecessor prior period IFS audit report in other matter paragraph. Also, the other matter paragraph to include the following with respect to the prior period reports, such as a statement in the prior period financial statement were audited by the predecessor auditor, prior period audit report date, type of opinion, and the reasons for the other than the unmodified opinion. Also, the predecessor auditor should not be named unless the predecessor auditor practice was acquired by the merged or with the current auditor. If the predecessor auditor has ceased operation, then he must indicate so in that report. Similarly, the prior period not audited and the prior period statements reviewed or compiled when the current period financial statement are audited and presented in the comparative form with the prior period financial statement that were reviewed or compiled and the report of the prior period is not reissued, the auditor should indicate an other matter paragraph in the report to the that includes prior period report date, service performed in the prior period, description of any material modifications or that is described in the report, and the statement that the service was less in the scope than the audit and does not provide the basis for the expressing an opinion on the financial statement. Also, the prior period statement not audited, reviewed or compiled. If the prior period financial statement were not audited, reviewed or compiled, the FS should be clearly marked. The auditor report should include other matter paragraph to indicate that the auditor did not audit, review or compile the prior period financial statement and the auditor assumes no responsibility for them. So this was the format of comparative financial statements. Let me know if you have any queries in the comment section. Bye.